Hey all, Lawrence from Express Unity, and today we're going to be continuing our multiplayer tutorial series. Now in the last episode we started our weapon system, and in that episode I showed you guys a little bit of what the abstract classes can do, so we can call our weapon start and weapon update from a completely different script, which allows us to basically give different kinds of logic to our weapons if we need different logic for that particular weapon. So what we're going to do is continue our weapon system. At the moment, we currently have an RPC that sets the parent to the hold position, right? At the moment though, if the player is viewing another player and that particular player looks up or down, there is no rotation that is happening to the gun holder. So I just wanted to do a bit of an experiment and parent that gun holder to the camera. So I just want to test if we can parent it to the camera. Alright, we're gonna have to open the prefab. So parent that to the camera. We're then going to want to add a photon view to the weapon holder. Photon view to the weapon holder. And we're also going to want a transform view on it, but we don't want to sync the position, only to the rotation. So I just want to put that on there. And I just want to see... I want to see how effective that is. So I think we need to apply. There we go. So really quick, I'm going to just build this. And I'm just going to test to see how smooth that is. Because if that's alright, then we don't really need to worry about anything. The rotation isn't going to really affect where the bullets go, because the logic is going to be calculated regardless of the rotation of the weapon. But it's just good to have like a visual reference that other players can see, you know, if you're being aimed at or whatnot. So if that works, then we don't really need to deal with it anymore. It should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. So we'll just quickly play this. Open up two clients so that we can see it working. Excuse me. Right, so okay, we've got that. Interesting. If I go over here, where does it even go? I'm gonna join with the Unity client and see what's going on. Okay. That's not gonna work because that player joined after all of those actions were done. So let's see. Hero robot, is this... Current weapons have a photon view. So if we go back to where it is, still in the same position, syncing. Let's just try and sync the position as well to see if that does anything on where it is. The object. Don't know what that was about. Just gonna ignore that. All right, let's build that. All right, so we join with this client. And we'll just move out of the way. We need to fix the mouse because this is getting kind of annoying. Let's just move in view of this one. Okay. So they are not cooperating. So let's go back to what we had before. Let's see. Actually, has the... No, they're still there. Oh, you know what it is? So the camera gets disabled and enabled depending on if you're the local client, right? So if the camera is disabled on another player, that also means that the weapon is going to be disabled. So while this would work on the client side, no one else will be able to see it because that particular camera has been disabled. So gonna have to find a little bit of a workaround here. Let's just go ahead and move this back out, and again only sync the rotation. So let's go back and just apply all of that. And in our it's not the gun manager, it's our set our movement. Yeah, it is. So, just trying to think how I can do this. Our gun manager, where? This is on the player, right? Let me just quickly check. It is indeed on the player. So for our movement, what I might end up doing is creating a new gun manager. Just gonna call it GM. Then in start, I'm just gonna say GM equals get component, and we want to get the gun manager component. And then down here where we changed the camera rotation, ooh, geez, excuse me. Let's just let's do not that. We want to say GM dot is it hold? Yeah, hold position dot transform dot rotate. And we basically just want to pass in the same rotation as we're doing to the camera. like so. So now, if we try and run that, oh, sorry, probably want to build rather than playing the editor so that we actually know what's going on. Alrighty. So now we should get the hold position. We need to fix our movement as well. So that's one thing we do need to end up doing. This is so awkward to control. Just because the mouse isn't locked. We need to like... Alright, we'll try that. Alright. So there we go. We've now got the weapon rotation down. Move the weapon up or down. The rotation of the hands we won't worry about just yet. It's just the rotation of the weapon. But yeah, that's looking pretty good so far. Alright. Okay, so let's get out of that. And now I want to make some scripts. First, let's head over to that game mode, the free-for-all. And in the canvas... wrong side. Let's go to the other side of the canvas. So, in the canvas, I'm going to just create a new image. And I'm going to give it just an outline of like 4 and 4. So also no transparency like that. And I'm just going to scale it down. Maybe like that will do. Might be a bit big, but who cares? And let's just center that. The middle of the screen. It'll look something like that. It'll be alright for now. We can leave that. That's basically going to be our crosshair. So we'll just make sure all our canvas is right. Looks good. So yeah, that's going to be our crosshair. Now in our... Let's see. We have just our movement script. I guess we can put it in the movement script. Or we could create a new script. Let's create a new folder. I'm just gonna call it player. And I'll just call this script mouse lock. Alrighty, so we can do something like if cursor dot visible else, then over here we can start the cursor dot visible equal to false, so that the cursor is invisible. And then over here we can say something like if the cursor is visible, then we can say cursor dot visible equals false. Then we also want to say cursor dot lock state equals cursor lock mode dot locked. And then in the else, if it isn't visible, then we basically want to make it visible again. So cursor visible equal to true, and then cursor dot lock state equal to cursor lock mode dot none, and then we'll just make a key press with this. So if input dot get key down, we'll want the key code dot escape, and that should do it. So basically, when we press escape, it'll lock or unlock the mouse depending on what state the visibility is in. So if it's visible, it'll make the cursor not visible, and it'll lock the cursor to the center of the screen. If it's not visible, it'll make it visible, and then it won't lock the cursor to the screen. Alrighty, so let's just drag that onto our player. So let's go to our resources. Actually, let's just go back to the scene where we have him spawned. So I believe it was in the photon scene. And down here, let's just add the lock or mouse lock script. Let's then apply that. So now when we enter a game, our mouse should immediately be locked. However, we should be able to... There we go, our mouse is locked. So we can look down. If I click E on this using the new crosshair. Nope. Let's lock that again. Alright, there it is. Awesome. So I don't think it worked the first time because in the start we have it set to false, but we also don't lock the cursor. So while the mouse is invisible, it's not locked to the center of the screen. Alright, so there we are. That should do it. Should no longer be having any kind of annoying problems. Now I want to go back to our movement script. So let's see. For some reason, doesn't matter what key we're pressing, we always seem like we're moving forwards. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. Oh, you know what? The animator component for the robot, the apply root motion is actually ticked. So if we uncheck that, we should be fine now. But we've actually been working with the root motion this entire time. I didn't even realize it. But yeah, if you wanted to keep that enabled, you can do that, but then you would have to find some animations for moving left and right, which I don't have any animations right now, which is why we're making it just physical based, or script based movement rather. But if you had animations that moved left and right, then you can go ahead and enable apply root motion so that it looks pretty spot on. So we should be able to still walk normally. Alright, there we go. We can now move left and right as well. Like I said, don't have any left and right movements, so walking left and right is still going to be walking forwards. Alright. So with our let's see here. So we now have the weapons. There is one thing I wanted to try. So in our gun manager, we call this RPC to parent the current gun. However, if a new player joins as you saw before, the gun isn't parented, it's still on the ground. So a friend showed me the other day his use of the RPC. So if we say RPC dot I think all buffered it was. What'll happen is if we join, pick up a gun, and another player joins, that RPC should immediately be called on that client so that the gun should be updated for that client. So I'll just show you, and hopefully it makes sense. Alright, so just log in here. So, before we even join with the other client, I want to just go ahead and just pick up this weapon. And if we move to the other client, this RPC should immediately be called when he spawns. Alright, there we go. So the gun is in fact... Wait. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. It just didn't update. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. It just didn't update, because I think we have it on the screen. But there we go. The RPC is now called as soon as that particular player joins. So that is pretty cool. So let's get out of those. Now that we have all that, I want to create another script. And this is going to handle our player health. So this time we're going to create a new script in networking and player. And this is going to just be called player data. Here comes the weird Unity quirk of it opening up Visual Studio without actually opening the script. No idea why it does that. Alright, so we want to be using photon. We also want to be using photon.pun. Then we want to be inheriting monobehavior.pun, and we want to make it an observable component. And then we just want to implement the current interface, which is the serialized view. So for now, I'm just going to remove the update and start. So let's create a public. Yeah, we'll make it an int. So public health. We also want public int max health and public int min health. Then we want to get our void update back, like so. And we can say something like if health is greater than max health, then we basically want to set the health back to max health. We can also do something like if health is less than min health, then we want to set health back to min health. This way it'll never go over max health or under minimum health. So now what we want to say is if stream.is writing, and else if stream.is reading. So if it's writing, we basically want to say health. We want to say stream.send next, and we want to send our health. And then we want to say stream dot receive stream receive next, and this we're gonna set our health equal to the current integer in line of receive next. So remember what I said in my last video, these are layered. So if I sent the next stream next, let's just say, I don't want to do this, but let's just say I send max health. The next down here would have to be max health, right? This line here would be max health. That's what this is sending back. If we put max health up here and the normal health here, health will actually end up getting the max health value, and max health will get the health value. It's not a good example here because everything's int, but if I ended up having a vector and int and ended up confusing the order of these, it'll give you an error saying something like an int can't be converted to a vector or something like that. So for now, we just want to synchronize those health values. And then we want to just say something like public void take damage. We'll give it an int amount, and we'll say then we'll do something like let's see, we'll do void, no, RPC rather. RPC void, and we'll just say, I'm just going to call it damage. Again, we want to call an int amount. And then we will just go and do health, take away equal amount. And in our take damage, we want to say if photon view.isMine, and then we will say photon view.rpc, the method name, which is in this case damage, and the target, which will be rpc target.all, and the parameter, which in this case is just going to be our amount. So now this take damage can be called over anything. We're probably going to be using it for our bullets when they make contact. But yeah, basically this will be called, it can be called by anything. It already has an isMine, so we don't need to worry about that. We just call this public void, and then it'll do our RPC call for us, which in turn should update on every single one of the clients. Alrighty, I think that'll do it for this episode. We've made a bit of progress. The next episode, we're going to be looking into shooting our weapons and taking damage from our players. So yeah, a little bit of a shorter one today. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I do want to keep the videos a little bit shorter than I have been. But I still want to try and pack in as much information as I can just to help you guys out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, if you guys need any extra help with anything, I do have a Discord server. You can go ahead and join it. I'll be happy to give you guys a hand. A few other members will probably end up helping you out as well. We've got a nice, very quaint, small community. And yeah, just a bit of fun. So go ahead, join it. Again, if you liked the video, give it a subscribe, and yeah, if you guys want to see anything else, or want to know anything about the series, comment down below, and yeah, I'll definitely get back to you with the comments. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode.